I was thinking about it with this and this injury watch for Porzingis. We've had 9 seasons of him in the NBA.
Right.
Career 19-8 guy.
Yep.
Right. We've seen seasons where he's averaging 23 points per game. He was an all-star with the Knicks, playing 65 games. And for playing as long as he has, and it doesn't seem like his career is coming close to an end, he is one of those guys where we've seen a career robbed by injuries.
Yeah.
Because after he tears his ACL against the Knicks, 57 games played, 43, 51, 65, 57. That's what sucks is how talented he is. A unicorn when he entered the league.
Yeah.
One of the most dynamic scorers because of his size and talent, and a shooter from the time he came in, and a guy that had to mature and take the game serious. New York City was too big for him. Dallas didn't work. DC, he matured and was like, I don't want to be here. Comes to Boston.
He was healthy, though, in DC.
And he was.
Yep.
Comes to Boston and fits this championship culture where guys like Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum want him. It's just wild to imagine what he could be. What this entire postseason run could have been for the Celtics.
Sure.
They don't lose a game if they have Porzingis. Well,
Yeah.
they had him. But they don't
Right.
lose a game if they have Porzingis in these playoffs runs to the finals. And if he was, like you said, close to 90%, close to 100, no one's 100 this time of year, it's just wild to think what his career could be without injuries.
Well, listen, this is how low he was, to your point. I was on radio at the time in D.C. when he was traded to the Wizards, and Wizards fans, listen, I'm going to say this slowly, Wizards fans were critical of the trade because he's never healthy. I'm like, bro, you don't win anything ever. You should be happy anyone plays for this putrid franchise. But what Kristaps did was he came there, he played well because he stayed healthy, and I think he proved, hey, listen, in the right situation, I can stay healthy. And the Celtics did a great job of putting him on pitch counts, making sure he was healthy throughout the regular season. And look, it could have been worse. This injury could have been an Achilles, and he could have been out for this playoff run. It is not. I believe he'll be rested and ready to go. But look, talking about Kristaps Porzingis and the injuries kind of gets me to thinking of injury-prone players in general in all sports. Let's just go through a couple that come to mind, top of mind here. Injury-prone players in all sports, basketball, baseball, football, whatevs. I actually give football guys and hockey guys a lot of a pass. I really do. And it's not taking anything away from baseball and basketball or calling them soft. I'm not going that far, but I'm just saying. I mean, my God, you're running into grown-ass men night in, night out. You're going to get hurt. And if you get hurt a lot, I can't necessarily knock you. So most of the players that come to top of mind for me, George, are in baseball and basketball. I think of a Jacob deGrom, who could be literally an all-timer.
That's a good call.
But, I mean, when he's healthy, he's as good as maybe we've seen. I mean, ever. But he is never healthy. Mike Trout, same damn thing. Now, he plays in a wasteland in terms of his talent. But, hell, I mean, put him on the Red Sox, Yankees, match, you name it. He's still going to get hurt. He's injury prone. I mean, he comes to mind for me. Just these are baseball guys, but even a Derrick Rose in basketball. There's a ton of guys. Kawhi Leonard's never available. I thought the Clippers had a good enough team this year to make the NBA Finals. Guess what happened? Kawhi. That's what happened. Like, he's the one time he was healthy, in a playoff run, he won a ring. He should have way more rings or way more finals appearance or way more pelts on the wall for playoff time, but he's never available. Ben Simmons. I don't even know if this guy loves basketball because he's finding injuries. Like, bro, what do you mean?
He ain't injury prone. He's game prone. He doesn't want to be out there playing.
Yeah, facts.
He's my back.
My back. But wait.
The direct deposit's still hitting? Oh, yeah, still
okay.
my back.
But, now my shoulder. Oh, my back again. Sorry, I can't. Zion Williamson. Some of that is diet, George. But Zion's never
biscuits
available.
and gravy.
It's a biscuits and gravy. You're a little heavy on them joints. Them knees getting hurt. Them ankles.
Anytime I talk injuries and robbing a career, it's Brandon Roy for me.
Oh, throwback.
Just like 5 actual seasons with the Trailblazers. Was 2-time All-NBA, multi-time All-Star. At one point, he was top 10 in MVP voting for Portland.
He was a dog.
And it was arthroscopic knee surgery. Just robbed him of his game.
Both knees, I think, right?
Yeah.
Man.
Just like attacking the rim.
I remember
athletic freak,
him.
great step-back jumper.
It's a throwback.
He was such a great guard that can score at all 3 levels.
He was.
and just love the game. I mean, he's coaching like high school ball in Seattle right now. But just his knees stealing it.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like the legend of it. And I caught the tail end of his career. But it's Penny Hardaway. I mean, that's someone that same thing. Knees. 4 knee surgeries, had microfracture surgery as well. I mean, that's someone I go through. We spoke about him the other day. It's Bill Walton. Broken back when he was in college. Yeah. Really his feet. Because he came on the scene. First 3 seasons was great. Yeah. Missed 3 of the next 4 because of his feet. Yeah. Got to the won a ring, was an MVP with the Blazers. And when he won MVP, he only played like 49 games because of injuries, but that's how good he was.
Those big men break down. Greg Oden, right? Those big men kind of just break down. And then even
Walton gets to the Celtics, plays 80 games, wins an NBA title. Next season, 10 games. Next season after that, out of the league because of injuries. And it's because of the 30 for 30, but it's Marcus Dupree, who's a running back at OU. Mm-hmm. Came in 1,100-yard rusher as a freshman. Had Barry Switzer switch from a wishbone to an I formation. Just we're going to give him the ball every play. Came back to the bowl game out of shape. Had like 17 carries, 276 yards.
Jeez.
I think it was mental health with him. I had a concussion. Went AWOL on the team for a couple weeks and just never became anything, really at OU after that freshman season.
Wow.
Really anything in the pros. But yeah, it's just wild to think of like Porzingis. You watch him and when healthy, he's great. But it's a when healthy. And it's comparable to like Kawhi Leonard as well.
Yeah.
When he's healthy, what he is as a two-way player, like an elite, best defender, one of the strongest players in the league.
Yeah.
His game, how patient it was, how it started in San Antonio, what it evolved to in Toronto, carried that Toronto team to a NBA title, like won it for them, was really the only, if you think of the recent teams to win, like
that team
the
sucked.
number 1 without an actual number 2 or 3, right?
Yeah.
That team sucked, and he led them to a title. You know how difficult that is?
Right.
But even dealing with injuries then, and it's just, once it was that one knee injury in the postseason where he banged knees with the guy and just stepped off, stayed in the game a little bit, and that since then it's just been awful for him.
Yeah, and he's sort of on that Ben Simmons track too, where it's like he's healthy, everything looks great, he's playing great, and then he just says, something doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Well, your x-rays are checking out just fine, sir. What do you mean? Something ain't right. I'm going to sit out. Great, thanks. And he's quiet, so you're not going to get – there's no communication there. He's going to shut down on you. But, by the way, great pull by you for Penny Hardaway. He was so electrifying. You know what immediately came to mind when I started thinking about Penny? Grant Hill. Same thing. Now, Grant Hill, I feel like had a decent little run there. He was really almost like the face of the league for a second.
Yeah.
And then injuries derailed that, so you didn't get enough of it. Do you feel that way for Ken Griffey Jr., or did we get enough work from him?
I think we got enough work for him.
I feel like
he
could have been
shine
even
through with his athleticism as well.
See, I feel like Ken Griffey, we did get a ton of work from him. All-timer, of course, Hall of Famer. But I feel like he could have done it longer. And then you're having different conversations. But injuries crept up and broke him down. And then don't even get me started. That's a whole nother podcast of the steroid era. And we believe him to be clean. And maybe naturally his body broke down because he wasn't taking PEDs. But he's one of those guys I kind of use in a what if. If Ken Griffey could have sustained that greatness for longer, we could be having way different, like, GOAT conversations around him. We were robbed of that due to injuries.